Leather Paul Frank, Leather Paul Newman,
Leather Paul the Apostle.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan.
And I'm Steve, and this is 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, fixing, modding, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast.
Later in this episode, we're going to talk about all the pedals that Josh Scott is going to ruin next. But first, we're going to talk about this leather studded Les Paul that was sent to us by RJ Hoopo.
Final price. Now, this is no doubt. Oh, this is a listed on Reverb as a Gibson Les Paul 50s tribute. Now, this is no doubt not what you were expecting when you searched for a Les Paul 50s tribute. This arrived to me in quite a sorry state, having not been described in an earlier listing. Someone had gone at the finish with strippers, and much of it was non-viable. After stripping the top to bare wood, I decided to create something special rather than refinish. The result of that work is shown in the photos above. The top and back are both wrapped in a nice brown leatherette, firmly glued and studded into the wood. This took a considerable number of hours and blisters to complete. The result is far more enjoyable to behold than anticipated. I have left the neck as it plays nicely and is, in my opinion, quite aesthetically pleasing. The sides are in a sorry state, but could be easily stripped to bare wood. Notice he says to bare wood, like bare wood.
Yeah, bears. Like the big animals that do cocaine in the woods.
I thought guitars were made out of mahogany, but apparently this one was made out of bare wood. To match the aesthetic. I did not want to remove what little finish there was still firmly attached, so I'll leave this up to the buyer. The mini tune system far exceeded my expectations, will be reinstalled before shipping. The upgraded Gator case photographed is included with the sale, all electronics original, though I would replace the scratched neck P90 cover. I was forced to remove one or two studs, so there may be a couple of small, well-hidden holes between studs around the edges. What? To move one or two studs. Okay. The bridge and tailpiece are fully functional despite being tarnished, and original strap ends will be installed. So this was in bad shape.
And now it's in worse shape. So all those studs are pins, right? They're all gonna leave. Yeah. They're all leaving a hole in the body.
Yeah.
Ah, damn it. Why? Like, honestly, like looking at the reliking going on the back of the neck and the sides of the body and stuff.
Right.
I bet I would have loved this thing before he put leather and studs all over it. I would have been like, yeah, oh, perfect. You've done it. You made a cool looking Les Paul.
It looks like somebody did. No, I think
like I want to relic my Les Paul now.
I think somebody did a horrible relic job. But I
I like that horrible relic job.
I just don't see why they're like instead of refinish, I decided to cover this in leather.
Right.
And fix the leather into place with a bunch of, which I guess you have to do
to make it look like your grandma's discount couch. You know, like great. It's got couch rivets and leather on it, and none of it looks like. It's fine. If they had done this to a $200 Amazon guitar, I would have been like, oh yeah, sure, have a project or whatever.
Yeah.
The fact that they did this to a guitar that is legitimately worth $1,000, whether you like Les Pauls or not. Like he probably would have gotten close to $1,000 on it if he left it just relict the way it was. But as it is now, man, I'm bummed by it.
I just who is this for? Is this, I guess, like maybe if you're in like a Merle Haggard tribute band, you can pull this off.
This is not cool enough for a Merle Haggard tribute band. This is
more like a Waylon Jennings tribute band, is what you're saying. That's a vintage classic country joke, kids. Solid gold.
I don't like couches that have these rivets.
I don't like couches.
I love couches. I love sitting on a nice couch. But I don't like that aesthetic of the rivets.
I think some of it
And a lot of them they don't line up very nicely at all. Like there's all sorts of little quirks about the way these are laid out.
The ones around the pickup rings are like real rough.
Yeah. I wish he hadn't done that at all. Like, stop. Just don't do the around the pickup. There's no reason for that.
You know, I'm okay. Let me see if I can find this because
you can't.
I want to convert the price and I want to convert it accurately.
You can't undo this because there's going to be 1,000 holes in it now, which honestly could look cooler. It could look cooler having 1,000 holes on top of the guitar versus
this leather,
this granny studded leather couch look.
Did this sell?
It might have sold. Oh, this says this listing has ended. Listed 2 months ago. It had 11 watchers on it. Yeah, how much is that in Australian?
That's the thing. It's how many watchers is that in Australian? It's like 6.
We're converting the watchers.
That's what you.
What are the Australian to American watcher conversions on Reverb? Should I ask Steve to scoot in or should I scoot out this episode? I can go over here.
I keep snagging on the carpet.
I know I need to fix the carpet. There's a little bump in it down there from all the years of rolling around on it. I really just need a whole new carpet in here is the reality of it. Just do the dollar conversion from Australian to US. Is that what you're working on right now?
No, I'm trying to find this. Oh, I see what. Okay, yeah. I guess I could do that.
All right, now we're both doing it.
$700, $717. This is probably like, well, this is in the UK, so it's probably like $650, which somewhere around $650.
It's in the UK American. And it's Australian dollars
because it's in.
Oh, someone found the ad in Australia.
RJ Hoopo.
All right,
is apparently Australian. $700. Do you know what? For if I saw this locally for $700,
no.
I think I'd chase.
No, bad, Steve.
I think I'd chase.
Bad.
What?
I've got a Les Paul over there.
You want me to sell it to you for? You want to sell it to me for $700?
I might consider it. I don't know. No, I tried to get its full value. It's worth like $1,100 or something like that.
Right. So that's what I'm saying is like.
But if I start relicking it, and I put couch leather on it, how much it'll be worth then? I don't know. It just feels really. This feels bad to me. I don't like what they did. I don't like looking at it. I wish that there weren't holes underneath this now. I have a very strong suspicion that it looked really cool with that relic. Even if the relic was sloppy and bad, who cares? It probably looked punk rock as hell.
I guess I'd never thought about it, right? But this is effectively a permanent modification.
Yeah.
Like an absolutely permanent, because you can't come back at this. If you had like...
You'd have to Bondo those holes. You'd have to wood fill those holes.
Yeah.
And then refinish it to hide this.
And the thing is the wood fill would... the holes are so small that you probably could not easily wood fill. But the holes are so deep, it's not like you could just do some light sanding.
I honestly think this thing would look better with a bare holes. Top that's full of holes. Like the way that you mask it is you put more holes. You just keep putting holes. Just tenderize it. Just take an ice pick and ding 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 ding, like you're just stippling all over.
I mean,
the guitar.
If there was, this is stupid. I'm gonna say a stupid thing.
Say it, Steve. That's what this show's all about.
The thing that would make this guitar better, you'd have to find a way to like protect the neck.
And they just dump the whole thing in stripper.
Well, there's that. There's also you're gonna have to get all the glue off of from underneath the leather.
The glue.
I was gonna say you're gonna have all those little pinholes all the way around. That's the other problem is it's a pattern. But I feel like if you took this and took some some Target, what's Target shot like an 8 size 8 BB, 8.5 BB. Put this up on a wall like 70 yards away
and just
like
target
shot
practice
it 4 or 5 times with a shotgun. I'm saying 70 yards because that's a distance where like you're not going to blow it away.
Make the holes its whole thing.
Yeah.
Make it a whole vibe.
that's
Like
how you
introduce some termites into this situation.
Make it the whole vibe. You're right. Make it the whole
vibe.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if 70 yards is the right distance, but I'm thinking of a distance where the BBs will hit it.
Right.
Like the shotgun pellets will hit it and do a bunch of random like marks on it, but isn't gonna like if you put this at 15 yards and shoot it with like a 20 gauge shotgun, you're gonna just like blow the thing. You're gonna do too much damage. You don't want to do too much damage.
So then you do that.
But then how do you protect the neck? You gotta protect the neck.
It turns out really cool, and you're stoked about it. Oh, you put like a metal plate over the neck or something like that.
Yeah.
You do this. It looks really cool. Next thing you know, you're on Reverb with a shop called Remington Relics.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good, right?
That is pretty good.
Yeah, guitars relics from a distance.
Oh my
gosh. You just like, here. How do you want your relic? Do you want 200 yards with rock salt, or do you want 75 yards?
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like so. It's just so unfortunate. Like you're going to have to do more damage to make it work, and even then, I mean, maybe it's so small. You just
stickers. Stickers is the answer.
Stickers is the answer.
You pull all this stuff off. You scrape the glue back as best you can, and then just punk rock stickers.
All right, here's what.
And then you offer this person $500.
Here's what we're gonna do.
And then you cover it with stickers.
We're gonna hunt down this guitar. We're gonna buy it. It's gonna be our next giveaway guitar.
We're gonna travel to Australia so we can buy it and then have it shipped to us.
It's probably in the UK.
I know.
We're gonna travel to the UK.
I like that relic on the back of the neck. Like I'm looking at this, I'm looking at the sides. I'm like, I wouldn't mind if my Les Paul looked like that. If it had some age on it.
It looks real rough to me. Maybe it's smoother than I think.
I've been thinking about trying the Les Paul in that new band that I'm in. We'll talk about that with What's New.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just need to take it with me and try
save that for later.
Yeah, that's for later.
All
right, let's move on. You think $700 is fair? It'd have to be $500 for me to start.
The more I think about what it would take to refinish this,
you're never going to be able to take it back to being worth what these things are worth in somewhat newish condition. Not even brand new, but like they go for 1,000, 1,100, sometimes 900 is what I was seeing on Reverb. 700 for this amount of messed uppery going on here. I don't think so. I don't care that it says Gibson on the headstock. It's not authentic.
Yeah,
that is not an authentic relic. And then finish rescue. I don't know, like interpretive refin.
Yeah, you're right. It's 1,000, maybe 1,200 tops.
Right.
And yeah, my first thought was like, well, wood filler. Like if you just spread it out, but like
this is so hard to make it. This is a good Les Paul for starting a completely different crazy project. Like you had some sort of crazy idea for a Les Paul that would normally defile $1,000 guitar, and you just don't want to do it. You offer these people 500. They're going to squirm a little bit, but it hasn't sold, so eventually they'll take 550. Then you'll take it home. You'll attack it with rattle cans or whatever else nonsense thing you're going to do to a guitar, and you won't feel as much pain of regret when you get to the end of it and realize that you're full of bad ideas as well. When a listing ends on Reverb, does that mean it's sold? No, I think it means they took it down. It was taken down. Maybe they sold it local or something like that, right? On a Craigslist alternative. Maybe they felt bad. Maybe they got so many comments from people like, "What the hell's wrong with you?" If you're gonna try to make a Les Paul look like a couch, what style of couch are you going for, Steve? I don't think I'd do leather. I think I'd. You do like the granny, like kind of rough floral fabric. Oh, that would be dope. Yeah, fabric top. I was thinking like the like a corduroy. A nice corduroy Les Paul.
That would be so sweaty.
Oh, it'd be so gross and matted after a while.
Can you imagine how linty that?
Yeah.
You're just playing, and it's just like while you're playing, there's just lint flying everywhere.
Like that velvety microfiber on a guitar. Ooh, yeah, that's the good stuff. Get that like 1980s like Naga hide pleather that would be in old station wagons and stuff, and it would crack on the edges and poke you in the back of your thighs.
I think that would actually be kind of cool.
All right, let's move on to the next thing. What's the next thing, Steve?
The next thing is housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Do we have new patrons?
We do have some new.
Yay! They're going to get to see their name on the screen at the end of the video.
Is the part of the show where we thank folks for supporting us over on patreon.com/60cyclehumcast, or for as little as $1 a month, you can support what we do here, like these folks have. At the $1 level, we have Philip Alter and Harry Post. I'm trying to figure out if Harry Post is a real name or a gag name.
Either way, it's a beautiful name.
And
it would be better if he was like Harry Post the Third, because you keep a name like that in the family.
And at the $5 level, Adolf.
Thank you, Adolf.
So
So if I'm doing my math right, we're up $7 this week.
Yes.
Nice. That paid for one of our burritos. Almost.
Not quite.
After fees, we got about halfway there.
It paid for one fish taco.
Thank you for the fish taco, everyone. But we've been using Patreon money to pay to send out gift cards to the people who have the best ad of each episode, which has been a lot of fun. Steve wants to do it until the day he dies. Yeah, apparently, and
that's what I heard in the last episode.
You don't remember saying it, but you definitely did. We use it to pay for our meals on podcasting nights so that myself or my wife isn't cooking frantically while we prepare to do podcasts and stuff like that. Yeah, we also use it to pay for travel.
Yeah, we're going to NAMM. NAMM is April 13th. Yep. Today is not April 13th. It's about 3 weeks from now.
We're getting 2 nights in a hotel, and we'll have other costs when we're up there.
Food, ride share.
NAMM is sure to knock out at least a month's worth of our Patreon income.
Oh yeah.
It's out the window pretty quick once we get out the door.
But that's what it's
go
for.
Somewhere.
And exactly. Then of course, we run this show through Podbean. What's Podbean? Like 30, 40? Is it more? $100 a month?
It costs money. I think it's like 30.
I don't remember what plan we have anymore because we've just stayed the same.
Yeah.
And then, we
have all sorts of costs.
We pay for a website.
We pay for Google extra storage.
That's right, Google Drive. There's a lot of things that go on.
A lot of things that add up that we have to pay for, and the Patreons make it happen, because otherwise it would have to come out of our pockets, and then we would just quit.
Well, we would probably just do everything remote. We'd never do it in person.
No, I think we just quit.
Okay.
Oh, this costs us.
In that case,
this episode's going to cost us $5 out of our own pockets. We quit.
Jeez, that's dark.
All right, what's after that? What's after housekeeping, Steve?
Let's talk about this guy.
Ooh. This episode is brought to you by Chaseless Audio, makers of the Mood.
This is the Mood.
That's the old Mood.
This is the old Mood.
I've got a new Mood.
Do you have it here? Or
no, I've ordered it. I paid money for it. It's not being given to me. I paid money for it. I was like, I want the new Mood.
Do you think if I used that code, we could get another one? Or would they be like, how did they use this code twice? I thought about, because I knew you're getting the new one. And I thought about maybe
Joel gave me a code so that they know that it's going to me. Yeah. It's like, put this aside, but if there's like a B stock, send it to Ryan sort of thing.
So I thought I am paying for it,
maybe
I could buy the old one off of you. And then I looked at the feature set on the new one, and I was like, damn, I don't know what any of those things are.
But it sounds nicer, right? It
sounds better.
Well, with this thing, it's hard to describe without people hearing it and playing it. It samples your playing and gives you different ways to mess around with it and stuff. It's like a delay, it's a reverb, and it's also like the sampling thing. And the clock here is like the depth, the bit depth. And so one of the things that I noticed on there on the spec sheet is that this is supposed to be a lot smoother now. So that'll make for some fun noise racking stuff and things like that. It just sounds like everything's higher quality. Also, the thing that has me really excited and really stoked is it's stereo now.
Right.
You have to use TRS cables for it. But I love a good stereo rig. And I've been messing around with stereo rigs for live playing recently. I'm like, I mean, the delay and reverb side of this is already pretty fun. I could see myself throwing this on one of my live boards and be like, I've got that crazy, like, glitchy thing to throw into a delay or a reverb, as a set ender or something like that. And to have it be stereo too. And for like, big stereo fuzz jams and videos and stuff, I'm excited.
There you go. Go check them out. chasebliss.com. This episode's also brought to you by Beaker Pedals, maker of the Wacka.
That's right. Well, they are making them right now, I'm sure.
Are they?
Probably. I think they've got all the parts. We sent the backplates back to them a couple weeks ago.
Those ones. I was thinking of.
No.
I was like, is there a second batch?
No, there's not a second batch. We'll see if there will ever be a second batch, but they're making these right now. Who knows? Maybe they're even shipping out already for all the people who ordered them and are excited to have a 9-button boost in their life that you just kind of mash your foot into and hope for the best.
It's super usable.
Yeah, everyone needs one. It's the best pedal ever made. And it's the most practical pedal ever made. All right, another ad, Steve?
This ad is sent by Kyle Barnhart.
Mm-hmm.
And it is called Soviet Weirdo. Joined Facebook in 2008. Sorry, old Soviet Union guitar, not in playing condition. I don't want to invest the money to get it playable, so I'm selling it. Could be a project guitar used for parts. It's in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
This thing's wild. In a lot of different directions. Like just sitting here looking at the parts on this thing, looking at the cut of the body, looking at the ingenuity going on.
Is that what you call this? Ingenuity?
Is this homemade or was this a factory guitar? I have no idea. It clearly they're trying with the horns and the area around the neck. They're trying to like hint at some sort of BC Riches sort of metal like style guitar here. They were trying to go aggressive and things just ended up really funky and wild. Really wild control plate here. Just a chunk of scrap metal with holes drilled in it.
Did you try to look for this at all?
I didn't. The pickups just look like bars of lead with no other discernible features on them. A wire running from one of the pickups to the solid metal bridge. And then look at the length of this wiggle stick.
That's possibly the wildest part.
Look at it. It goes all the way from the strap button to the neck pickup. I've never seen a wiggle stick that long on a guitar that wasn't trying to be a joke. I want to know what's even going on with that.
I think
that trim design.
I think the entire tailpiece is like on a hinge,
and it just moves on that hinge.
And so when you bring that down, it like it looks like it's designed to be pulled. Yeah,
at this thing is a bolt-on neck. The bolts are on the fretboard.
Yeah. I mean,
the bolts go straight through the fretboard.
Taylors are kind of like that, right?
Yeah. This is a more modern take on that design. Oh, man, I love looking at this thing. Is that the output jack on the back of it?
Is there one on the...
We didn't even need to talk about the headstock.
I don't know. Oh, the headstock's terrifying.
Oh, I don't know what is the thing on the... There's like a screw hole on the back of the guitar body right down here.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Not
There's
the
a lot
jack.
of I don't knows.
So it has a 0 fret and some sort of string guide thing that looks like the sides are broken off. I think someone's mangled the headstock. This is not stock condition. I suspect a lot of this is aftermarket mangled, like that control plate, possibly the cuts of the upper and lower horns around the neck and whatnot. But that headstock is definitely mangled. They cut it off to be this little, oar handle shape almost with scrap metal with the tuners going through it. A lot of ingenuity here. there is a Phillips head, a flathead screw for a string guide for the high E, because otherwise it would just be hanging off the nut.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The back of the tuners, I'm kind of into all this hardware. Like, just the look of that hardware, those swoops.
The tuners look really interesting.
For like the
back.
the 3-in-line, like one piece, like vintage style open gear tuners. I've never seen any with that specific build before, and there's something really classy about them in a very kind of like vintagey throwback sort of way. This is 175 Canadian. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I wouldn't pay that, but I'd get out of bed for 150 to go see this thing.
I can't tell exactly what's going on. Like,
and I have no expectations of it being a playable guitar. I just want to investigate it. You know, I want to go
I
touch
suspect
it.
it's a barely.
Oh yeah, it barely functions.
It would be barely functional.
But I want to hear those pickups. I want to wiggle that stick. Get me near that stick. I want to wiggle it.
So I want to go back to something you said earlier. You said that this seems like it's either trying to be a BC Rich, and I think you may have said that you thought it was homemade.
Either homemade or home modified.
Okay, home modified. I can see home modified.
No, the person who made these modifications did not home make that fretboard. You know, like
right.
There's parts at best. You know.
There's like parts. That's the same thing with like the way this vibrato sort of thing kind of makes me think it's not homemade. Like that, that part of it may have already been
Soviet guitars are famous for being just really wild pieces.
I can't find anything like this.
No, of course you can't.
So
it's either a one-off or a hyper modified thing, or something that like someone truly made in their shed in the Soviet Union in 1986
What I was
going
to say is, like, I wonder if it's older than that. I'm thinking 70s, in which case it's probably, if anything, you know what this is? You said BC Rich. This is like a Burns copy. I think the horns are trying to do like more of a Burns thing.
Possibly.
I don't think it's trying to do BC Rich. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, maybe someone out there, someone listening, happens to have a database of Eastern European guitars and knows exactly what parts are happening here, but I can't find anything.
It's fun to look at. I'll say that. I don't want to buy it. I don't want to own it, but I do want to investigate it and touch it. And like, if I can hear those pickups, I want to hear those pickups.
And then maybe you'll want to own it.
Maybe. I don't know. All right, let's move on, Steve. What's next?
What's next is what's new, Ryan.
What is new? I've been going through a lot of personal gear journey stuff with my new band. We have a name for the band now, a working title for the band anyways, in case we come up with something better. Have I told you the name yet, Steve?
No.
The name of the Gen X kind of like post-punky, kind of gothy band that I've joined on to
is
Vulture Shock.
Wow.
It's fun, right? It's kind of silly, kind of corny, kind of goofy, but also kind of like, oh yeah, Vulture Shock. Yeah, serious stuff, guys. Kind of doesn't mean anything, which is nice. It sounds like Culture Shock, but isn't. So like whatever.
Yeah. It just makes me think of like Culture Club.
Sure.
And it's interesting because you had mentioned before that like one of the is it the bass player in the band's like really into the Killing Joke.
Yeah.
So I found out today that I don't think it was ever proven, but that Kurt Cobain had a major fear that he was going to get sued by the Killing Joke.
Oh, for
Come As You Are.
Yeah, because it was basically the same line on there.
Yeah, but like at half the speed.
Right.
Which is a thing I learned.
Well,
learned today.
The notes are a little bit different, but is kind of like a Vanilla Ice comparison.
Right.
He definitely heard that song and definitely lifted the riff for sure.
Well, that's cool. So how does this tie into your personal gear journey?
So the problem is at practices, I'm not loud enough.
Right.
And I've discovered that I really don't own very many loud amplifiers. I've got all these 15, 20 watt style things all around me. The Wang's back there is 40. The Imperial Mark II is 20 something.
I think it's 20 something, yeah.
It's like 22 watts or something like that. The bassist has like a full stack rig. The drummer's got this great big beautiful drum kit, and he just hits hard. And I'm having trouble getting my place in the mix. I've got the Black Star St. James, which is a 50 watt amp.
Right.
It gets plenty loud, but I've been resorting to the Acoustic Control 150.
Interesting.
Which is a stupid, painfully loud amplifier.
Right.
But the wall that I'm hitting is that the cab that I usually would use with it can't keep up. Because I've been using that crate cab that it was a crate amp that you and your dad turned into a cab.
Well, I turned into a cab.
You turned it into a cab.
It was mostly me.
It was mostly you.
Unfortunately.
Okay. Oh, did we unlock a traumatic memory?
No,
Steve?
I'm saying because it's a piece, man.
Okay, yeah. But I've used that cab with those speakers for Dinosaur Ghost forever. One of the speakers had a big hole ripped in it. Actually, it's in that box right now if you want to go grab it.
Oh, okay.
So I just had the thought, like, these speakers are probably really inefficient. One of them's got a great big hole in it. I'm going to start ordering speakers to mess around to see if I can get this cab to be louder. It's not really about being loud over the mix. It's about finding my place in the mix and having a little bit of headroom to get out over it if I need to boost into a solo or something like that. What you're doing right now is probably the most damage that's been done to it in a long time. Everything else that led to this hole in the speaker was just me playing loud in Dinosaur Ghost.
Right.
It started as a little pinhole that was right there, and it just kept spreading out. I've never actually touched it the way that you were touching it there. So I got this...
you ever going to use that speaker again? No. So, whatever.
I might do a video where I do like a destroyed speaker sound or whatever. So I ordered this Jensen neodymium speaker because I've been loving the super lightweight speakers in the Black Star.
The N12K, right?
Right. And then I did a little bit of testing at home and it was like, well, it's definitely louder than the stock crate. Like in recordings, it's tracking as at least like 30% louder. I don't know how that measures to in-room sort of feel. But I'm like, well, I've got to replace the other crate speaker now. So I just ordered a Swamp Thing. That's Eminence, right? An Eminence Swamp Thing. So that's on its way. I don't know if I kind of like the look of the crappy front ported crate cab that Steve cut a custom back plate for. I kind of dig that look, but I might end up eventually getting like a more normal cab to put them in or something like that. But I'm on a speaker journey right now. And also, like, I might be on an amp journey as well because I like the Acoustic Control, but it is, it is a vintage piece of solid state. And I don't know, it's probably a lot bigger and less feature rich than I need it to be. Like I've been looking at the Quilters. Like if I want to stay solid state and just be stupid loud, I can get a Quilter 200 and it'll give me all sorts of tone shaping options and stuff like that.
I mean, that's probably like a good way to go if you don't if you're just trying to, especially like trying to save weight.
Right.
Like, just get that or get, I think Quilter makes the biggest small heads that I can think of.
And like the Quilter I was looking at, it has like a couple different voicing options and it would give me a full like 3-band EQ and a drive section and stuff like that if I wanted to use it. If I wanted to go tube, I mean, instantly I'm going to be getting into something big and heavier, which is less convenient. Do I need to have a tube amp? I don't know. Sometimes tube amps sound kind of great. What if a tube amp sounds great in this band setting? But looking around, I'm realizing, holy hell, like if you want to get into like a 100-watt tube amp, things get expensive quick. Like real quick.
You could probably find some good deals on a used one.
On a used one for sure, but like looking around new, it's that niche I think is gone. Like there's a couple options out there. Oh, there's dozens, but it's like it's all metalheads and metalheads for metalheads, and they start at 1,000, and then they work their way up to the 3,000 and 4,000s really really quick. So I really don't see that as an option for me unless like a demo opportunity comes along to demo a high powered tube amp head. I really don't see myself going that direction.
On Reverb, Bugera 120 watt valve head.
I'm talking about new, Steve.
I'm trying to find a new one.
Okay. But that's on Reverb.
I know. I'm trying to see it.
All right.
Do they not make these anymore?
Probably not.
No one seems to be selling them.
So that's where I'm at. I'm chasing different gear solutions for this band, and Dinosaur Ghost has shows coming up, so it'll be nice to have a fresh set of speakers for that as well. I'll keep everyone updated when we have hard dates for Dinosaur Ghost in case anyone in the area wants to come check them out. Do you have anything new going on, Steve, in your gear life?
Not in my gear life.
In your non-gear life?
I'm going to my first concert of 2023.
Oh, really?
In a couple days, so that'll be fun.
Where are you going? Who are you going to see?
Going to see Copeland at the Glass House in Pomona.
The Glass House?
Yeah.
You're gonna be like a teenager in the 90s.
Yeah, pretty much. One of the classic Southern California indie punk, like whatever.
All ages venues. Yeah.
So
when was the last time you went to like Soma for a show?
Oh God, 15 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't been to.
I mean, because I never went to shows. Like I think the last show I went to at Soma was probably the Aquabats.
With
like you and
I dragged you there.
You and Adam.
Yeah.
That was probably the last show I went to.
So easily Soma. 15 years ago. Yeah. I haven't been to an all ages venue in forever.
I mean, I've seen I guess all ages venues.
Well, we ran an all ages venue, but it's not the same. Like we didn't have big shows there.
Yeah, but I was never a Soma main stage. I think that's the only show I've ever gone to at Soma main stage.
Okay, so you weren't a Soma kid. Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Steve thinks he's better than me because I went to Soma a lot.
Yeah. I was really sad when the Epicenter closed.
You went to the Epicenter a lot?
I went to the Epicenter a lot.
Wow, Epicenter was my local all ages venue. Literally 10 minutes from my house. I didn't know Steve was going there a lot.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah.
How you like them apples?
Well, have a fun show, Steve.
Yeah, so that'll be cool.
Update us next episode.
Yeah, we'll do.
We're definitely not recording that right after this.
Actually, I could update in 2 weeks.
No, you can't.
Yeah, because we're recording.
Oh, yeah, you can. Okay, all right.
So, otherwise, gear things. I don't think I bought anything. I need to buy some more pedal shelves.
Have you tried out that Flamma thing that I gave you yet?
No.
You got to plug that in, man.
No.
You got good headphones. You got those. I know you have the Boss headphones.
I got the Boss headphones.
Just next time you're sitting on the couch, just grab a guitar, grab the Flamma and the headphones, and have some fun. You'll like it.
Yeah.
The headphone plugs are awesome, man. You're gonna
you're gonna love it.
If you give it a go, I think you're gonna find that you end up using that rig. A lot more than you've ever played guitar in your life. Those sorts of things are a gift to the middle-aged dad guitarists. That the only free time they have is that hour and a half before bed after the kids go to bed and you're sitting on the couch at night. At
2 a.m.
Right. Just sit there and jamming along to YouTube videos and stuff. Take some lessons. It's easy to take lessons with those headphone plug things. I'm selling them on. I'm selling them on it, and I gave it to him.
Does it hook up to iPod or what?
Yeah, Bluetooth.
iPod.
It hooks up to iPod, Steve.
Yeah.
Or Zune.
Well, is it compatible with my Creative Zen?
No, it's got Bluetooth, so you can listen to music and jam along. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. I need to mess around with it. Every day when I was working from home, I'd sit at my desk and look at it and be like,
next episode, I'm going to ask you if you've used it yet.
Yeah. Ask me next episode for sure.
All right. Should we talk about JHS now?
No, we're doing another sponsor. String Joy.
All right.
This episode is brought to you by String Joy, crafted in Nashville, Tennessee, played on stages worldwide. String Joy. They make strings. We've
had 2 affiliate sales from them in the past week. Thank you guys so much for using the affiliate link to buy your strings. Let us know in the comment section how you like your strings. If you hate the strings, be honest. Tell us, like, oh, I hate the strings. You led me astray. But I have a feeling you're going to like them because I've been liking them.
Yep.
I've been putting them all sorts of stuff. I need to order more codeds because I use the codeds a lot.
Okay.
This is a 9 to 42. I usually use the 11 to 50s, I think.
Big boys.
I like the big boys on my surf guitars. But if I want a shreddy guitar, I go for those 9s. You know, some guitars, I just feel like they like a lighter string to them. But you can get whatever set style that you want. You can make custom sets on their custom set builder. Get wild and crazy. Build the heaviest set you've ever made. Build the lightest set you've ever played. Build a set that has a little bit of both. Every other string alternating. Heavy, light, heavy, light, heavy, light.
It's not heavy. It's my brother.
All right. Huge thanks to String Joy for sponsoring more of this nonsense. Let's talk about what pedals Josh Scott is going to personally ruin the used value of.
As
next.
we all know, recently Josh Scott bought about 20 Digitech Bad Monkeys from various used sources. Pawn shops did not pay more than $30 for any of them.
He's like, watch this, I'm going to retire.
And then he made a episode on the JHS show about the Digitech Bad Monkey, and suddenly each one of these $30 investments is now worth $55,000 or something.
Well, I saw it somewhere up for 600, right? So you're saying he bought 30 at $40, which is a $1,200 investment.
Right.
And then 30 times 600, which is what they're definitely selling for. $18,000. So he's pocketed at least what was it, 1800 $16,800 Josh Scott has pocketed with this grift that he definitely absolutely did, where he bought 30 Bad Monkeys and then immediately flipped them.
I read on Gear Talk Praise and Worship that this is how the JHS show, like, they don't take sponsors.
Right, because it's a flipping game. Yeah.
Josh just uses his power as the host of the JHS show. He doesn't do anything else. He's not involved in any other part of the industry.
Right.
That he just has the Joshua Heath show. In fact, calling it the JHS show is redundant because you're calling it the Joshua Heath show.
Right.
I don't. Why do we
Joshua
do that?
Heath JHS show. We're late to the game with this episode talking about this because it just got beat to death early last week, and here we are a week later. People are already sick of it. I was sick of it like the first day. I was like, here we go again.
Oh, you lasted a full day? I was sick of it the first 30 minutes.
Everyone's gonna act like this is somehow Josh's fault or JHS's fault, or like that they're doing it on purpose, or they're like, what responsible thing they need to do to prevent this from happening? And it's like, it is your guys' fault out there. If you pay marked up prices for this stuff, it is your fault. It is the fault of the people who watch that show strictly to figure out what thing they can flip. They're sitting there like, oh, new show's going up. I'm going to buy this because I see he's going to talk about it before he even gets to it so that I can flip it if it increases in value. Because it's not about people having fandom for that channel. It's about people thinking it's this whole like tech bro Bitcoin like stock market culture thing of like, oh, here's an angle where I can flip things and make money. It's greed.
Yeah. So there's two things. One is, I think for this one, they were very prepared for this happening. Because I guess I'm sure they have a competent graphic designer in house, because within like 48 hours, they were like selling T-shirts.
Right. No, they do. No, they've got a great art team. I'm sure they've got
a good art team, in that operation. So it's probably not actually that hard to turn it around, to basically take a photo and turn it into a T-shirt with some text. I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying if you know what you're doing, it's not hard.
Here's my conspiracy theory.
What's your conspiracy theory, Ryan?
Everyone thinks like, oh, this is just to rack up the price so that they can make money selling them or whatever. That's a dumb conspiracy theory. Yeah. My conspiracy theory is that this is a very intentional marketing campaign for Reverb.com. Like I think
I heard
it's a collaboration between JHS and Reverb.com because Reverb was real quick on writing a big old article about it.
I saw this somewhere else online and I refuted it.
Okay.
Because
it's not about getting people to buy $600 pedals. It's about getting people
to go to
Reverb.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I can see that. Here's the issue is that did Reverb's article really get written any faster than guitar.com?
I don't know.
Or Music Radar or any of these other places?
Who stands to profit the most from this?
Reverb stands to profit. I'm sure Reverb loves it when he makes these videos. But to say that, like, I think that there's maybe a jokey wink between the Reverb guys and Josh, but I don't know that this is like an active, like, hey, Josh, Reverb's, we're hitting slow march. We're hitting slow march. You think you can drive some traffic our way? How about you drive some traffic our way, Josh? And because what does Josh like? Unless the JHS show is actually sponsored by Reverb,
right,
in some sort of way, maybe not up front. What does Josh? I think maybe it's more just no. It's not about a monetary exchange between these two organizations. I think it's more of a tit for tat promotion thing. Like you promote us, we promote you, sort of thing. I don't know. I
could ask Josh. I've got him on Marco Polo. Hey, Josh, Josh? Look, should I do it right now?
Just call him right now. Marco Polo him right now, and if he responds before the end of the show, we'll talk about it.
Hey, Josh, Steve and I are sitting here podcasting right now, talking about the whole Digitech Bad Monkey situation. And I have a conspiracy theory that this is all an arrangement in between JHS and Reverb.com for sort of like tit for tat, like marketing exchange, like promotion exchange. Let me know if you can. Before this episode is done being recorded, we've got about 15 minutes left here. If you could let me know if my conspiracy theory is correct, and give me all that damning evidence, and I will ruin your reputation here on the podcast. All right, we'll see if he gets back to me.
You know what? I think the thing is okay. So this is Emily and Joe over on Get Offset talked about this, and Emily hit the nail on the head. And you've said this before. Josh just likes to mess with people.
Of course, he's like Josh is like us. He's a 40-year-old guy on the internet who was a troll in the 90s and the early 2000s. We all get a big kick out of doing little jokes and gags on the internet.
He's gonna hit you back and say absolutely.
Absolutely.
But so the thing that I saw is somebody posted this online, and I think they were like kind of serious about it. And their evidence for it was when you go on Reverb and you search their articles and you look at the JHS tag, there's something like 80 articles about JHS. Yeah. Like Reverb writes about JHS a lot. You know who else they write about a lot?
Who?
Earthquaker Devices, Walrus Audio.
Oh, weird. It's almost like they write about companies that have products that sell often through their website.
Right. It's weird. Weird.
Big conspiracy.
Probably Fender. No, there's like 80 tags. I think there was like 80 tags for JHS. There's like 80 tags for Earthquaker. There's like 40 for Walrus.
So let's go through the pedals that we are predicting that Josh Scott is going to ruin next. We might have insider knowledge. As you guys have seen already, I have an inside contact. I can contact Josh Scott directly. He might have told me what pedals are next. And I'm just saying, you guys should buy them right now before that JHS bump happens so that you can flip for big money.
So you'll be prepared.
Yeah. The first on the list. Like, this is not terribly rare, but if everyone tried to snatch them all at once, we could see their value go from the $50, $70 mark they're at right now all the way up.
These are
to $700, $900, $1,300.
Of course, we're talking about the Boss
PSM dash 5, power supply, and master switch. These came with all the plastic Boss pedal boards as like the first thing, because it would be your power supply for the other pedals, and it would also be a master AB switch, and you just put everything in the loop. So it's like a one loop pedal that's also a power supply.
The old
Silver screw, by the way.
Does it have like a top and side
Look at
jack?
that.
Oh,
Silver screw.
Does it also have side jacks?
It has side jacks. It does not. Oh, it has face jacks. It has side jacks. So it's a loop pedal. You put a bunch of other pedals in the loop with it.
Okay, yeah.
But it's one loop.
Part of the reason I will say this is a like fun piece of history that I'm sure Josh will talk about.
Yeah.
The old Roland daisy chains, they didn't have an input. They were just a series of outputs. So I mean, I guess you could like say they had no female plug. They were all male plugs.
Right.
So you would need something like this. The Boss TU2, it basically has the same sort of function. I had one of those back in the day. So I'm sure Josh will cover that when he talks about the Boss PSM5?
And I really can't wait. Yeah, it's the Boss PSM-5. I really can't wait to hear what it sounds like shot out against a Klon.
Yeah.
I'm sure. It's so close.
Like a Klon, this pedal is designed to be super transparent.
Right, exactly.
It should not affect your tone.
Next up is the Ibanez Tone Lock LF7 Lo-Fi. Now,
the Lo-Fi.
These already go for good money, Steve. I had one of these, and I think I bought it for $50, and
$200.
I flipped it for like $70, and now they're in the $200s before shipping.
If we scale this, the Bad Monkey was like a $50 pedal,
right?
And now it's a $500 pedal. So we would expect the Lo-Fi
to be a $2,000 pedal.
$2,000 pedal,
easily.
I did want to say, and Josh, the JHS, they put this on their socials. They came back out. The Bad Monkey came out 19 years ago or whatever. I remember.
And it is famously a good pedal. I've always seen people be like, this is a great pedal. The Bad Monkey is an excellent overdrive, and you guys should definitely try this thing. I've never seen anyone say it was bad. It's not like it's a secret that it's a good pedal.
And it has a built-in amp simulator, which made it kind of like
it was a secret, like into your pedal board.
In the early days of like churches wanting to go to silent stage,
right?
A lot of people they were buying Bad Monkeys they weren't even using the drive,
right?
They were using like other popular drives like the OCD,
but they would just use it as an end of the chain, like easy plug into front of house solution. Yeah. So the LF7, I had one of these. It's definitely very lo-fi. There was a setting on it that I preferred over the guitar setting, the vocal setting. There was a microphone setting on it. I really liked the distortion of the microphone setting. But the volume level was like way too loud. So like I had to do all this stuff to like attenuate it and like turn down the level.
Right.
And like do stuff to bypass it to get this really gritty, nasty sound that I wanted out of it. And it was just too inconvenient. But maybe when JHS comes out with their version of the LF7, that issue will be addressed. And I won't have to pay $2,000 for one when I can get the JHS version for $175.
Are they going to come out with their own version, or are they just going to promote this one?
Well, it'll be their own version, but it'll have an extra switch on there for a JHS mod.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But first they're going to release their video on this, and then hey, surprise, surprise! A month later, we've got our own. Or in the same video, like, oh, here it is. You all want this, but now look, we've got our own here. I'm like digging into JHS hard now. Sorry, Josh, if you're watching this.
It's raining a lot outside.
Yeah, that's what the weather said it was going to rain. Next up, Steve.
What else we got? This is my choice. The Dan Electro grilled cheese distortion.
Yeah,
this is a notched cocked wah distortion. I forget what knobs it has. I think it has gain as a knob.
Gain and filter.
Yeah. So it's basically you cannot. There's not really a volume control. So like it's just gain and filter.
Right. There's no volume. There's no tone control.
I personally think this is one. People always say like you guys never talk about like pedals that suck. This was a pedal that sucked.
Well, you can get one on Reverb for right now. $45 plus $10 shipping. For $55, you can beat JHS to the punch.
Yeah.
And find out how excellent and how necessary and how historic this pedal is.
I could see
before it's worth $500.
I think he's got the skills. I think he's going to take this pedal and he's going to make it sound just like a Klon.
You know it already sounds like a Klon.
Get that notch, just get that filter to the right spot.
You know what? Keep
the gain low.
You don't match this to a Klon. You match a Klon to this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You're like, oh, good news, guys. The Klon sounds
like
the grilled cheese.
Like the grilled cheese.
Next up, a classic 90s pedal, and it's digital.
Yep.
The Zoom 505.
Yep.
Ah, man. I can't wait to see those things go for $600, $900. $20,000. Right now you can get them for $39 plus $15 shipping. The fun thing about those pedals, Steve, is they have all these presets in them. It's like A1, A2, all the way.
Not presets.
And then you go through all these banks. You press the button and you just have to keep pressing it to get all the way through. And if you pass the one that you want, you just keep going. You just keep going.
Can't go
and cycle back.
You can't go in two directions.
I don't actually know if it's this model of Zoom multi-effect, but a friend's dad had one of these when he was a teen.
Yeah.
Something like this, maybe this. And he was like, yeah, it sounds pretty cool. It's really convenient, but yeah, if you want to get back, you have to keep going all the way through and cycle back around.
One of my friends, Tony he does a bunch of podcasts over with the Just Surprise Me guys.
Yeah.
Recently pulled his 505 out. And so he's running his 505 through like a dual rectifier and like a 5150 or something.
I had the Zoom 2100 and I learned to play guitar using that thing. It had a built-in looper and stuff. I learned a lot about guitar and tone.
So these are like 40, 50, 60 bucks.
Yeah. You can live the past, get nostalgic for the real tone of the 90s with the Zoom 505 multi-effects here. And then lastly, Steve.
Oh, yeah.
We saved the best for last. This is a collection of legendary, infamous pedals
legendary.
That I personally know that I for sure know that Josh has been planning content around them.
We know people that he's been buying these pedals from.
Like, this is a real scoop, guys. This is it.
Unless you've been paying attention, because I think he's...
There's only one on Reverb right now below $100. It's $89. Oh, plus $12.42 shipping, so it's just over $100.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about the Gear Supply Company line of pedals, the infamous line of pedals that were basically the last thing that they teased everyone with before they shut down as a company, even though they kept taking everyone's money for months and months and months after that.
They had a light drive, a medium drive, harmonic tremolo. I think there was a delay.
Yeah, you know what?
Maybe a reverb.
Here's the crazy thing. The Gear Supply Company line of pedals was essentially prototype JHS 3 series.
Kind of.
Is that a spicy hot take right there? Because it was meant to be, they were meant to be these like $100 kind of like crowdsourced, very simple graphic, very simple layout pedals. That's essentially where we're at right now with a lot of the big brands. I mean, JHS did 3 series and it blew up and took off. We've got $100 pedals from Wampler now. We've got $100 pedals from Fender. We've got $120, $150 pedals from Gibson through Maestro. We've got pedals coming out from a bunch of different brands.
So they had
that hit that mark.
Light drive, medium drive, harmonic tremolo, dynamic compressor were the 4. And there was a preamp. The preamp was not the same case as the rest.
Right.
So that one was different. It was only a 2-knobber.
It was a smaller one, huh? It was like a little boost thing.
No, it's still a full... It was the same case and everything.
Oh, okay.
It just only had 2 knobs on it.
Okay.
I'm trying to see how...
Oh, there was one that was a different size for some reason.
I'm trying to see how much these were.
There's very few of these on the market. Very few made it out of production into people's hands because it was essentially a scam. And Gear Supply was a sponsor of this show of 60 Cycle Hum for like quite a while in our early days. And it was such a huge bummer to see it become this scam where like people were being taken for their Kickstarter money and stuff. And people weren't getting their strings. But Gear Supply Company's whole thing was like a string subscription.
Yeah, so these
people stopped getting their strings.
These pedals were all designed to be $150.
Right. And now there's only a few out there. Are the circuits worth more than what they were going to cost originally? Probably absolutely not. Is there a collectability to them? I hope not. But if JHS covers them, I think we're going to see them blow up in a way that no one could have ever expected. It might single-handedly revitalize the Gear Supply brand. Maybe Josh will be able to broker a deal to buy Gear Supply Company.
I'm going to say a terrible thing right now.
Say it.
If Josh Scott on the JHS show covers these pedals, you know who is going to sell the most? Like, obviously, the people who try to flip these are going to make a lot of money. But you know who actually stands to profit the most from this?
Diaz?
Chaos Audio.
Oh.
Oh, I think I'm about to have a stroke. That hurt my brain. That's a story for another time.
Steve has a whole story he's going to tell you some other time.
I'll tell you guys at NAMM.
Yeah. So anyways, are any of our predictions true? People watching this 4 years in the future?
You know what I would say, let us know in the comments what pedals
I think the Zoom 505 is going to be it.
For like cheap, for like pedals of your...
Right.
The thing I've seen, like, you know, people say like, I saw this other comment too. I think Josh is such a historian, such a archivist, whatever you want to call it,
archivist.
of pedals, that he's got a good like sense of this thing. And so people say like, well, Josh is the only one who could do this. And I think to some extent that's true. But I
definitely can't do it.
But I also know like you can't do that. But I also know that like brands have specifically reached out to you because they're like, I have 10 guitars on Amazon. I just need to clear out. Can I send you one so we can sell the other 10?
Yeah.
So they know, like, that's
advertising works.
Yeah.
Huge surprise.
Let's be honest.
Huge surprise.
But I saw somebody say, like, well, the price of DS1s didn't go up when Rhett Shull talked about them. So, like,
yeah, because everyone has a DS1 already.
And because they're still being made. Like, that's the whole key to this is they have to be... Typically, the pedals that Josh talks about are pedals that were widely available at some point in the past.
Out of production, underrated, decent price before he talked about them.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the key.
That's the key. That's the secret recipe.
DS1 doesn't qualify.
Right. Figure out something else. I was trying to look up the value of acoustic simulators. The Boss Acoustic Simulator. It's like, surely no one is using these now. Those are going for like $200 already.
Don't they? Do they still? I feel like they still make them.
They probably do.
You know what pedal probably didn't benefit? Maybe Josh. Maybe Josh hasn't covered it. The Eric Clapton Crossroads.
Maybe. Oh man, if Josh do the Crossroads,
the rumored worst pedal of all time.
Terrible pedal.
Yeah. Supposedly the worst pedal of all time.
I'm sure he'll make it sound like a Klon and everyone will want to buy one. Now I kind of want one. How much are they?
I don't know. I tried to buy a Jimi Hendrix Experience wah from that series like last week.
Uh-huh.
And I contacted the seller and he just took the listing down. So I don't know if it was already sold or like by saying, hey, is this pedal still available? He was like, F you, man, blocked.
They're $100? The Crossroads pedals are $100. Come on. Oh, here's one for $75.
You're gonna buy it? I feel like $100. You know, people.
A brand I wish. Okay, go ahead.
People kind of got up about this, and I kind of get with the whole with different things. I realize it's a place of privilege to say this, but I feel like $100 for any guitar pedal is pretty affordable.
It is like
it's not like a Fortaboard. But I feel like it's pretty.
But Fortaboard stuff
these days is
creeping up, man.
Yeah,
like an Fortaboard reverb that I covered the other day is $90.
Yeah,
you know.
And how many settings does the Crossroad have? Like, it's got a bunch.
And all of them make you sound like Clapton. Yeah. How much would you pay to sound like Clapton? Now, how much would you pay to not sound like Clapton?
You want to do the last ad, man?
Let's do it. We have got a vintage Tele output jack cup here from Matt Carnevale. And they want... Well, this thing sold on Reverb, and the price was listed at $78.34 AUD. So what do we want to...
Why are we getting us all these ads from...
And I don't know. People want to...
And this was actually sold out of...
Venezuela.
Venezuela?
Yep.
That's interesting. What am I?
But it is a Fender Telecaster 1968 Jack Plate Cup. It looks like it's got some age on it. It's a 1968. It's got some relicking and wear and rust going on. Let's assume that 78 AUD is what? 55 US?
Damn near 53.
Whoa, that was just a guess. I'm
The
right on
listing
it.
just says good condition.
Well, it's functional condition because it's a metal cup that you put an output jack into.
Right.
I want to know what's going on with the rest of the guitar. Why is he just parting this thing out? What's going on with the rest of the body? Can we please get some confirmation that this is truly in a 1968 Fender Telecaster? Because we are not seeing any distinguishing marks on this guitar. And I'm not just going to throw like 50 US into the wind, 55 US into the wind with an inauthenticated Fender Telecaster Cup. Like, I need a paper trail on this, guys.
Right. So this site, this store, also has a 1978 Fender Stratocaster listed for $1,700 plus shipping. That is not a Stratocaster anymore. Look at this.
Oh yeah, that hasn't been a Strat for a long time.
It's got a Shinai Siren Hurricane Wah. It's got a 63 Jaguar in Seafoam.
This is their shop. Okay.
Yeah. So I was trying to see, like, well, maybe they have the other Telecaster parts on here, but I don't see any other Telecaster parts.
So I get, Steve, like, people buying vintage parts to complete their vintage guitars and stuff. They're trying to make it as close to stock condition as they can. This is pretty beat up. It's got some rust. It's got some crust. It's got some dings in it. Do you think that there is any like tone magic or mojo with this vintage $55 Tele Cup versus a brand new Tele Cup that you could attack with some salt water and a file and sandpaper, but you could get it brand new for $3?
Sure. So here's the thing.
Or let's call it $10 after shipping and, the sandpaper and whatnot.
Here's the thing, right? This is a little tricky. This is old.
Right.
It is old, right? We can all agree it's old.
Right.
But 1968 is kind of a dicey time at Fender. They've just been bought out by CBS.
Their Jack Cup quality was all over the map,
Some of the Jack Plate cups that went on to 68 Telecasters were pre-CBS.
Right.
They're made using superior metals.
That's what you want.
But then some of them were milled and whatnot bent. That whole thing during CBS.
They were brass. They were chromed brass. CBS era, they were zinc inside. It just
That's
true. That's absolutely true. I didn't just make that up.
Yeah, chrome over brass.
Yeah,
versus zinc.
And brass is what they use in trumpets. It's going to sound good.
It's the same thing with, like, you guys know about snare drums, right? Chrome over brass.
Oh yeah, I know about snare drums. Yeah, I know everything about snare drums.
It's hard to say because, again, if this was like a 66 Jack Plate, I'd be like absolutely worth 55.
Right. But
68's kind of
67 is in that where, like, you're looking for that certain roll on the cup edge there. You're like, is it? There were a few left in 68, but most of them got used in 67.
And then, like, 69 is like $15.
69, you buy it just because of the year. You're like, that's a nice year, nice. But it's not going to sound nice.
I forgot about that, actually. The 69s are worth more because it's a nice year, because all the perverts out there just want driving up the price. But by 1970, practically worthless. Might as well buy a new one.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to put myself in the headspace of if I had a late 60s Telecaster and I knew that the jack had been replaced, would I feel $55 inclined to get a era correct jack? I know in my head it's not going to make any difference for the sound or the playability or even the looks of the guitar, because who's even going to look at that? Who's even going to look at it? But I would know that it doesn't have the correct year jack in it, and would that drive me crazy enough to spend $55 to get the correct year for something that doesn't matter whatsoever?
I hate to say it. think the answer is yes.
If you've got the vintage guitar, it's only a $55 more to do.
It's stupid.
It's so stupid.
And again, like I just said, like it's
But
so
you're not
it's so
wrong.
very privileged
I might
to be.
I just might do it.
But
I hate that I might do it.
yeah.
I hate that part of myself that's living inside of here. That's like, oh yeah, if you had a 68 Tele and it didn't have the right output jack, yeah, it's $55 and you can get it. That's not that expensive. Or you can just keep the jack that works. I mean, maybe if you're gonna flip it, like maybe I want to sell my vintage Tele. If I, you get your walls painted and you can sell your house for more than. You bump up the value of your house more than the cost of the paint.
It's going to cost $3,000 to or $5,000 or whatever to repaint.
But then it gets you $15,000 on the value of the house. Like, so maybe if you're trying to sell a vintage Tele and you're like, I really got to make sure it's complete, you're going to spend the $55 so that you can get an extra $300 out of it.
Or you could just spend, $5 on some sandpaper
and salt water.
I don't know, man.
People would be able to tell. They could tell that's a fake relic. They want that natural relic on their output jack. Like, look at all the scrapes and rust in here. That's from people just like kind of fumbling with the jack and not quite getting it in there. For Steve, for 50 years, for 55 years, people have been fumbling to get a jack inside of there.
Right.
Get the plug in the jack, and now it's all rusted up. You can't simulate that with sandpaper and salt water and a file. No, you need 55 years of fumbling to get that toneful, soulful mojo. All right, tell us about the song. Steve.
Nope.
Oh, we got to pick the winner.
Hold on, real quick. Did Josh get back to you?
Probably not. He's probably asleep.
It's only 8 o'clock.
Here?
It's only 10 o'clock there.
He didn't get back to me. We'll wait for the song to be done, and
right.
I'll let him know that it's too late. So he knows that he doesn't have to respond.
Yeah. So out of the week, Adventurers Club. Who's getting in the Adventurers Club this week? I think this is a tough week. I don't know what to pick.
Thinking about which one I had the most fun talking about is not tough for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Really.
You tell me what you're struggling with, Steve. Maybe I can help you work through it.
I thought all three of them were very good this week.
Well, I think we were very good this week. If we're on our game.
But we can only be good if the material, like, you got to have a strong base. You got to have a strong base.
You and I could carve an excellent podcast out of nothing. Out of just trash.
Definitely don't.
If we're in the right mood, which we happen to be.
Don't agree with that.
So most of the time, we're not in the right mood, and we make good content bad.
All right. You want to just say it on 3?
Say it on 3.
1, 2, 3. Leather Paul. Okay, Leather Paul. I was real close because the Weirdo was a lot of fun. So that's RJ.
Yeah.
RJ Hoopo. Congratulations.
All of them were a lot of fun.
I tried to deep dive into Soviet guitars, trying to figure out what the hell was going on. Vintage Tele Cup was great.
I thought
Vintage Tele Cup, we shared a lot of important information about the quality of Fender vintage cup jacks over the years. It's important.
Someone could run the numbers and probably figure out pretty quick, especially if once we've done this for like a year or so, we probably mostly pick the first ad because we already think it's a good opener. We already see potential in it, and we're pros at this. So like if you get picked to be the first ad, there's a good shot.
I didn't think about that.
You're off to a good start just because we're looking at it with our like, oh yeah, I've got the expert eye and I know I'm going to be able to say some interesting things.
Now I'm going to intentionally
scramble them. Try to bury the one that you think is going to be the best at the back of the episode.
This song was sent by Rob. His band is called The Penny Drops. It says, just watch your latest podcast and you mentioned you're after some more songs to play out the end. We're not your usual style, but I've attached a link to one of our original tunes. Great show. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Rob.
He thinks we do good work.
I believe it's Rob and Madeline are the Penny Drops. And yeah, if you want to, before we start this, if you want to get your song on the end of the show, send us Preferably like just an MP3 file attached to an email to 60cyclehumcast
Please don't make me
at gmail.com.
Please don't make me buy your song off of Bandcamp. Please don't make me have to like track down a really sketchy site to download songs off your YouTube, because I have to get like a good version of your song to put it into the final edit. So please just send us an MP3. It makes things so much easier for me. It makes it easier for me. Like Steve doesn't know the difference, but save me 10 minutes. Send me an MP3. How about that? One time it took me like half an hour to find a thing that would convert a thing from a thing. So yeah.
Dude, what's going on? Why is this not playing?
I don't know. It's not plugged in.
I can't see back there.
You're all set, Steve. I handed that to you earlier and you didn't plug it in.
He walks along the riverbed, wandering thoughts run through his head. Don't quite know where his journey will go, but all he can hear are the words that she spoke. Can't quite take her eyes off the moon. She knows it'll all be over soon. Who's gonna stay and who's gonna pay? Lord, be clear on redemption day. Please bring him back to me. No right, no wrong could he see. I don't quite know where we're going to go, but I can't do it on my own. I must bring my darling home. They came for me, so come for you. We know we'll all be over soon. Together we were, and together we will be. Not on this earth, that's plain to see. Please bring him back to me. No right, no wrong could he see. I don't quite know where we're going to go, but I can't do it on my own. Please bring him back to me. No right, no wrong could he see. I don't quite know where it's going to go, but I can't do it on my own. I must bring my darling home. Ooh, ooh,
Can you imagine what your life would be like if you had an amazing singing voice? It's like a superpower.
Probably wouldn't be on a podcast.
If I had an amazing singing voice, you couldn't stop me.
You just be singing all the time.
I'd just be out. I'd be a super villain. I wouldn't be a superhero. I'd be a villain with a voice like that. Are you kidding me? Beautiful, beautiful little song. I'm gonna tell Josh now that
He's
it's too late.
Too long.
Hey Josh, sorry you missed your window. We just finished recording the podcast, so you didn't have a chance to chime in and let us know if the conspiracy is true or not. People are just going to have to assume the best or the worst. we listed a bunch of pedals that we think you could ruin the value of necks. So have fun making your video on the Zoom 505.
All right.
All right, bye, everyone.
Stay grounded.